The DigiBox D3 Plus Android TV box offers a non-subscription based streaming service for live TV channels and movies and animes and series. But is it worth its premium price? Let's find out. Hi and welcome to Bytes and Bits. In today's video, we're going to have a look at this DigiBox D3 Plus Android TV box. Now this is a fairly standard Android TV box, but its distinguishing feature is that it offers you a non-subscription service that will give you access to thousands of live television stations, thousands of on-demand movies, series and anime series, and some other aspects as well. So we're going to have a look and see exactly what's involved with this box, how it operates, and what we can do with it. Now, to be upfront, the company DigiBox did send me this unit for free for review, but all the information and views that I'm going to put into this are, of course, my own opinions on this particular product. Now, the product itself sells for around about £300, $300. So as regards an Android TV box, that is quite expensive. But obviously, it's this non-subscription streaming service, which is what you're actually paying for. And again, it's not a free streaming service because you are paying sort of the premium price for the box, but there are no subscription fees once you have made that initial purchase. So let's have a look at the actual box itself and then what it can do. So the DigiBox D3 is shipped to you in a very smart box, and inside that box you get the basic Android TV unit, along with a simple but actually quite a good quality remote control unit. So you're also going to get a power brick, an HDMI cable, and a very basic set of instructions. So basically everything you need to get up and running. So if we have a look around the unit, on the front then we've got a status LED. Then on the side of it here we have 4 USB 2.0 ports and a micro SD card slot. Then on the back we have the power input, a digital audio output, our HDMI 2.1 connection, a gigabit Ethernet support, an audio output, and then an infrared receiver extension port. So overall, this is going to give us a good range of connection options to set this up within really any home media center environment. Now, it's a bit of a bonus at the moment, and it's June 2024. DigiBox are running a promotion on this new product where you can get a free wireless keyboard with touchpad and a 64GB USB flash drive as a free gift for buying this unit. Now again, make sure that you do use the link that I'm providing for you down in the description. There are a number of outlets for these units, but this is the only website, the official website, which is providing this special offer. Plus, they've actually given me a discount code. So if you use the discount code BOB, you will get a further £15 or $15 off your purchase. But again, do make sure that you use the link given below. Now, as far as technical specifications go, the hardware, it's a fairly standard Android TV box. So we've got the unit here powered by the Allwinner H618 processor, and that has 4 ARM Cortex-A53 cores inside it, which are running at 1.5 GHz. Now that's teamed with the ARM Mali G31 MP2 graphics system and 4GB of LPDDR4 RAM. So we're going to get it working really well as a TV and media center, and this will actually give us up to 6K video support. But it's not going to be, well, we're not going to be playing any AAA games on it, put it that way. So a good competent TV box here. So storage for your apps and data then is provided by 64GB of eMMC memory, which is built into the unit. But you can, of course, then expand that using a micro SD card or even plugging in a USB drive into one of the USB ports. Now, Wi-Fi then, it uses both the 2.4 gigahertz band and the 5.8 gigahertz, so that will give you good connection out to your Wi-Fi router, and it is Wi-Fi 6 enabled. So again, pretty good specification there for the Wi-Fi. It also then, of course, has these two external antennae, which should then provide it with pretty good reception. So overall then, the actual DigiBox D3 Plus, in terms of it as an Android TV device, is going to give you a really good performance and be a really competent media device. So let's get this all plugged in and set up and running. When you first power on your DigiBox, it will go through its normal startup procedure, but then initially drop into this pairing mode, where of course it hasn't yet got a connection with its remote control unit. So obviously, having first of all put two AAA batteries inside the unit, just hold down the buttons as marked, and you should see that very quickly it finds the remote unit and pairs with that automatically. So once that's running, we can now use the D-pad on the remote and the OK button to start navigating our menu. So if we click Next, we now have to set the default language for our unit. And again, you can see here there's a wide range to choose from. But of course, I'm going to go back here and select the English option, and then select Next to go on to the next screen. So now we need to set up our network connection. So we're going to connect up to Wi-Fi. We just select that option. And then in there, you can see we have what is in effect just the normal Android Wi-Fi connection. So we select our network. We then need to type in our password. And once that's set up, we will then have our internet connection all set up. So the next screen we come to is a disclaimer. And it is worth reading through this. And it's really talking about the idea that the various applications that you may want to run on this box, it's your responsibility to make sure that how you use them and what information you access, that you have the right to do so. So again, there's a bit more of disclaimers on this box than on perhaps some other TV boxes. But again, that's all part of the way this product works. But once you accept the disclaimer then, it should drop into your main home screen, and that in effect is the unit pretty much set up and ready to go. So the main user interface then is pretty much as you would expect from an Android TV box. It's all designed to be used via the remote control, so we're going to use our D-pad and our OK button to navigate around. And basically, if you look at the home screen, across the top, if we use the up arrow to get onto there, you can see that we have a number of options and settings and so on. Again, we can work through those, and a couple of those we'll be looking at in a second, just to get some final setup procedures. And of course, there are some more options underneath this ellipsis at the end here. Okay, but that really is just sort of setting up the system just the way you want it. The main interface then is down the bottom here, where we have our sort of app displays. So on the main home screen, we have space here for 5 apps. But the way that this box is set up is that although there are a couple of apps showing, and if we go into the apps itself then, these apps are more sort of placeholders. The actual apps themselves haven't been installed. So if we want to watch some YouTube videos, if we click on the YouTube app here, you can see that it is not yet installed. So we can, of course, then just click the install, and that will put it onto our system for us. So once that's installed, if we then click it again, we should now go into YouTube, and there we have our app up and running. As you can see, the actual speed of the unit is pretty good. There's no real delays around here. So if we come down here and try and find some sort of video to watch, let's try on that one. And you can see that that will come in, and we get pretty much instant playback at our standard quality. So let's come back out of that and go back to our home screen. So I'm just going to press the home button on the remote. That should take us straight back to our home screen. So you can see we have a basic Android TV box all set up. In the apps area, it does have access to the full Google Play Store, so we can go in there. And again, we will need to sign in, which I'll do in a second, but that will then give us access to, well, everything that you would normally expect on an Android device. So as regards general sort of setup operation and working as a standard Android TV box, everything is exactly as you would expect it. And as I say, the interface is nice and snappy and everything seems to work correctly as it should do. But for this system, one of the main features, well, the main feature for it, is that it does provide you with access then to unlimited online streaming channels from various networks, as well as movie systems. So let's have a look and see how we can get those set up. So there is in the app section an app store there, which is different to the Google Play Store. So if we come into the App Store, so this App Store is obviously not the official Google Play Store. So as you enter, there is this disclaimer page, which is really just telling you that you are responsible then for vetting the various apps which may be available for download within this Play Store. Now to be honest, I would only use this system for downloading the streaming apps, and that's really what this whole box is about. So we do need to confirm that we accept these conditions. And there's obviously then a tick box so that you don't get this message popping up every single time you come in here. So let's do that and head into the actual App Store itself. So in the App Store, you'll see a range of familiar applications, but the ones that we want are the cat apps in the first 4 spots. So let's just install those and then we can see what they have to offer. So once those are finished installing, you should get the main 3 popping up on your home page. So Cat TV is our live television channel streaming service. Cat VOD is the movie on demand service. And the Cat Back one then is a backup if either of the other 2 services are offline for whatever reason. Now the 4th, the Cat Hot, is the adult channel, but I'm going to leave you to investigate that for yourselves. So let's start then with the Cat TV live television channel streaming service. And you can see here it's asking for a number of permissions. So again, the remote does have a voice activation on there, so let's allow that while it is using the app. Allowing it to make and manage phone calls. It actually does seem to need this to be able to log into the system, so let's allow that. Again, the actual device can't make and manage phone calls, but I do think it is part of the logging in process. And then managing and accessing photos and media files on the device, then obviously we need to allow it to do that. And that then gets us into our live streaming. So if I just press the OK button, that should bring up our channel list. And you can see here that we have a wide range of channels that we can watch. So if I go across into the All option, you can see here that we have, as it says across the top there, we have 2011 channels that we can get access to. And if you scroll down here, you'll see that they are listed, broken down into a number of different categories. And as we come down, you can see there all of these ones in our system. So again, the main ones across the top, of course, are, I think these are all US channels. We can then come down here. Across there are some Canadian channels and so on as we go down. And even some UK ones, and these of course are the ones that are available mostly in my country. So all of these then provide you with access to a live streaming system, and of course this is not coming directly from the channel itself, it's coming through the Cat or whoever they are servers on there. So we can of course just, because we go across, so let's go down to a sports channel and see what sort of sports we can get over here. So I'm not sure what any of these are, to be honest, but let's go down and this NESN Boston. Let's see what they've got going on there at the moment. And you can see it's now hooking into the live streaming servers, and there we are watching that live TV from whatever channel that happens to be in Boston. So all of that seems to work pretty seamlessly, and you can see there that we have pretty good quality TV coming through, and everything is working as it should. So the next app to try out then is this Cat Video on Demand. So let's power that up and see how it goes. So again, it's signing on to the Cat servers, and here we are in the application. Now in this one, I do have to blank out the video selection on here for copyright reasons. but we can still see sort of the general idea. So each video or series then comes up with a thumbnail, and those appear quite quickly. And again, we can sort of move down them and see what's available on the system. So if I come up to the top bar here, we can see that we have a recommended section. If I go across to movies, our total movie selection then is 11,575. Total number of series in the systems, 2,728. And total number of anime series then 389. And again, this is actually increasing as they add new content onto the system. So let's come across and see sort of what sort of things are available. So if we go into movies and then come down, we can go across onto this left-hand menu here. And again, you can see that the movies are split down into various categories, which we can go through. And as we go through them, you should hopefully be able to sort of see that the thumbnails in behind there are changing. But we can, of course, do a search. So let's go and search for one. And again, the search system does let you either type it in, or we can use the voice input on the remote. So if I go across to voice, and one which I already have pre-searched to find, I know that is there, is if we search for Top Gun, you can see that it automatically then recognizes what we've said and fills it in. And again, we have now a series of both documentaries and the actual Top Gun movie. So both Top Gun movies are in there, and then there are various documentaries looking at various Top Gun style organizations. Now, again, I did choose that on purpose because I knew that would come up with the correct answers. I have been playing around with a number of videos and having a look at sort of the top videos from the last 20 years, the top 10 there, or top 20 or so. I did have a look through, and we were getting probably about a quarter of them coming up on the system, which I guess is probably similar to some of the other sort of movie channels that you might come across. So there is definitely a lot of choice out there. You may not find exactly the film that you want, but there is definitely a good selection for you to choose from, both on the films and the series and the anime. Looking at the actual playback quality then, so in here we have Top Gun Maverick, which is labelled as a Blu-ray quality video. So if I come across and have a look at that one and start that up, again, we get some information about the actual film itself, and then we can play that. We can see it now starting to stream the service down from the CAT servers. We're getting a pretty good data rate, and there we get the movie coming up. Again, that's pretty good going, I think, for this type of a service. So we're straight into the video here. We're getting full Blu-ray quality video. And there's no lagging or anything like that. So that's really good. And let's see if we can skip ahead here. Can we sort of jump ahead in the video? So if I go forwards a bit in there, again, it's starting to pick it back up again, and we're straight back into the video again. So I say, as regards quality of playback and able to access any of the films which are actually on there, that is very impressive. So that's the video on demand. So if we go back then to the home screen, and again we have our CAT back. Now this is designed to provide you with a second route into the streaming service. So if I go to CAT back, this actually combines both the live television channel streaming and the video on demand into one system. So again, I think the reason here is in case one set of servers happens to go down for whatever reason, you then have the ability to come into here and still get to your content. So again, you can see there's a slightly different interface. I think it offers less actual channels and perhaps less movies as well. If we come down, let's see what the movie side here. Again, it's not saying how many of them are available, but again, I think it's a slightly different system. But again, it is there so that if anything does happen, you're not stuck not being able to get anything on your screen. So those are the three main apps then. As I said, the Cat Hot is an adult video channel. the system does have a password protection. So if you are using this in a family situation, obviously do make sure you boot that app up once and enter in a password. Obviously the first person to open that app gets to set the password. So if that happens to be somebody you don't want getting into it, then of course they will get access immediately. So do make sure you do set that up and at least put a password in to block people getting into it. So those are the main apps then. Cat TV for online video, live TV streaming, video on demand, a backup service, and the adult channel. So that then is our DigiBox D3 Plus. Now there are obviously a couple of questions probably left in your mind regarding this product. First off then is the big one, the legality of it. So the actual box itself obviously is just an Android TV box running Android version 12, and as regards that there is absolutely no issue at all. All of that is perfectly legal and above board. The one area which we do have to have a bit of a think about then of course is the media streaming apps. So obviously we have got access to a large number of commercial TV stations, and then a large number of copyrighted movies, series, and so on. Now all of those then of course are being streamed through those cat apps and coming down then with this subscription-free system. Now the information on the DigiBox websites, there are a couple of the sort of other distributors who have legality pages on there. Now they of course are saying that obviously the box itself is legal, but they're also then stating that the media partners that they use to provide the streaming content are all properly licensed and well, in effect doing it properly. So as regards that then, I can only go of course by what I'm seeing on these official releases, so it does sound as if everything is okay, but I would advise you do a little bit of digging yourself just to make sure that if you have any concerns about the legality that you do put those to rest for yourself. As regards the actual then operation of that system, it does seem to be a good quality system. I say the selection of channels and movies was fantastic. The actual quality of the streaming service was incredibly good. And again, if you compare that to something like Kodi, which is definitely not a legal system, you'll find that this is so much better. You can rely on this to actually provide you with the content you want without it buffering and going to poor quality. So in that sense, it does seem like a good quality professional system. On the operation of it then, the DigiBox website itself does say that it is useful to use a VPN system, especially for some of the other country content. So I did try that with my Norton VPN system. The TV streaming, so Cat TV and Cat Back picked up on the fact I was using a VPN and wouldn't allow it to work. So again, that could be a deficiency in my Norton VPN system. So do try that with your own. But again, that does then of course help to obfuscate the sort of IP addresses and your internet activity on there. Lastly then, of course, is the question of, is it actually worth it? Well, again, that's going to become a personal choice. The quality of the service, as I say, is as good as any of the movie streaming apps that you would get, like Netflix and Disney Plus and so on. If you consider about a year's worth subscription to either of those, would cover the premium cost of this box. So again, you're paying a good sort of £200 or £250 per year, one-off cost to purchase this particular Android box as opposed to other ones. And again, that pretty much relates to 1 year's worth of subscription to any of those other systems. So that really becomes a choice for you then as to which you want to do. Of course, this then of course doesn't have any recurring fees. So once you've paid for it, it is yours. So I hope you find that information useful and informative. Please do click that like button and subscribe to the channel if you did. Don't forget that I do a lot of gaming and electronics and coding projects, so have a look out for those. I look forward to seeing you again in another video very soon, and bye for now.